How should I say this? In 9 out of 10 cases, I do strongly believe that a steel nib fountain pen is far better than a gold nib fountain pen. Let that sink in. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host Amy from penventure. Welcome to a very controversial Pen Talk 101 video. I don't think this is the first time that you see myself wearing prescription glasses, and well, this is the new look. It had to happen. I'm surrounded by lights every single time that I'm recording videos, and those are facing me, and a lot of times I went home seeing stripes and stars, also spending time in front of a PC for 8-9 hours a day will get your eyes tired. So let me know if you like them. Anyway, let's get back to our subject. Today I wanted to present a different viewpoint that I've been sort of thinking about lately more and more, and why do I think it's such a good thing to have a steel nib fountain pen versus a gold nib fountain pen. I hope you are going to see a different viewpoint regarding this aspect, and maybe in the future it will help you out in multiple areas in regards of your choices of writing instruments. I haven't prepared a plan, so I will go through the subject as it comes. Well, steel nib fountain pens. Why do I think it's better than gold? A lot of fountain pens which bear steel nibs are also available in gold nibs, 14 karat and so on. This is a very good opportunity to put them side by side and to show you what is better on a steel nib fountain pen. I'm going to demonstrate this theory and this viewpoint using Leonardo Officina Italiana as a brand and their lineup of writing instruments. Steel nib fountain pens, they are much more practical than gold. I know this may sound weird, but hear me out, because this is how I proceed this option. Steel nibs are a little bit more rigid and a little bit more, let's say, prone to be better candidates in all sorts of usage ways. For example, if I'm going out at the bank, at a lawyer office or something like this, I would love to have a gold nib fountain pen with me to sign documents, to everything. But I do have to say that I am much more careful with my gold nib fountain pens since they are more expensive, and the nibs are, let's just say, if it's going to take a fall, the cost of the damage that a gold nib will take in a fall, it's going to be a lot more expensive than steel as a material for it. So I intend for very on-the-go use to take steel nib fountain pens. Why? Because I'm not scared of using them on different papers, pressing. Maybe someone will ask, hey, can I have the pen for a signature? And I am much more prone to land a fountain pen with a steel nib than a 14 karat or so gold nib fountain pen. And for all of these reasons, I use something with a steel nib. When it comes to a fountain pen like the Leonardo one, it's available in the same shape and model, both in steel and a gold nib. So this is wonderful because not only it's much more practical, or I view it as being much more practical because I get more use from it, but also it's the same shape and the same model, and it contains the same attention to detail like a gold nib one, and it comes to around 40-50% of the price. Another viewpoint that I want you to be aware of is the fact that once you have a steel nib fountain pen, which is writing very nice and beautiful, the fact that the nib is a little bit more rigid, it will help you in the long run if you use that fountain pen a lot, because the gold nib of a fountain pen, it's more, let's just say, elastic, softer. And of course, that will translate into a different writing experience versus a steel nib. But in use, you don't actually press each time the same on the nib. Maybe sometimes you are writing on something like an office, you are not in a hurry or something like this, you have plenty of time to get that nib to write beautiful and so on. But let's imagine sometime you take that fountain pen out with you with a gold nib and you are on a construction site, or maybe you're at an office or something like this, and you need to get it out quickly to write down a phone number or to get your signature on a document, and you press a little bit harder. And you actually can spring the nib, get that nib to spread the tines a little bit over the limit, and it will not come back the way it was first. Or maybe you are writing at a specific angle and you twist the fountain pen and you actually bend one tine a little bit higher than the other, and that fountain pen will feel scratchy. I would like to say that when you have a much more steady, much more stiffer nib, it will allow you to actually get a lot of this use, and it will forgive the improper use mistakes versus a gold nib fountain pen. So I do most of the times say that this will, in theory, keep its alignment and the way it's writing from day one when you receive that fountain pen with the steel nib for much more time, and it will forget those mistakes that you can make with the gold nib fountain pen. Those will maybe come back to you and you actually have to tinker with that gold nib. And I know that for me it's something which is very simple, but for some of you maybe you don't have the same courage to take on and to get a nib back in shape in regards of bending it back or so on. In regards of flow, the actual part that provides the flow on both gold nibs and steel nibs is the feeder, which is the same. In some cases that is made out of ABS plastic, in some cases it's made out of ebonite. Both are very good conductors of ink flow. I have to say that maybe it's very minute difference in regards of the ink flow. Ebonite feeders offering a little bit more ink flow, much more consistent, tied together and so on, but it is barely noticeable. There are fountain pens from Leonardo which have ebonite feeders both on gold nibs and on steel nibs. We're talking about the Momento Zero Grande series and others as well. Basically, you get everything the same with a gold nib fountain pen. I don't see the point of not getting a steel nib fountain pen when it comes to this. I'm going to tell you a little bit more later in regards of where gold shines, if we can say it like so. A steel nib fountain pen, in regards of budget, it's much more accessible. And if you have the chance and you want to try a different color model that have both gold nib and steel nib, if you have a retailer that can check the nib prior to delivery, take care of adjusting it if it needs, or if it's something that you require on purpose, like it's available on Penventure, you can leave your instructions the way you like the fountain pen to write in the order notes, and I can take care of every single aspect when I'm checking the fountain pen and adjusting the nib. I will have to say that you are much better for going with something in steel, because you pretty much get the same attention to detail, you get the same fountain pen, the same parts. Something to point out, I almost forgot, is that Leonardo will soon switch from using ebonite feeders on steel nibs, and ebonite feeders will only be available on gold nib fountain pens. Keep in mind, if you're planning to get something like Momento Zero Grande that is using a ebonite feeder and a steel nib, get it while it's available, because soon it will be not available anymore. When it comes to attention to detail, the same amount of work and the same amount of craftsmanship goes into creating the same fountain pen that's going to accept a 14 karat gold nib or a steel nib. So I know it's not going to cost as much as gold, but technically speaking, you get the same everything, the same attention to detail, the same craftsmanship, the same build, the same part, the same assembly line, the same assembly process. Everything is the same, only the budget is different. Where does the gold nib shines? Well, I would say that in writing performances, it's going to be very different from a steel nib. Let's just try to picture it in a way like this. 14 karat gold nib performances, let's just say 9 out of 10, but the price is like for gold. Steel nib, it's going to have performances around, let's just say 7, but the cost will be half. You actually pay around half of the price to get from 7 to 9 or 10, which is only 3 points. So actually, in theory, if I look at it this way, it is better to get a steel nib fountain pen versus a 14 karat gold nib one. But where the gold shines is in the way it's behaving on paper. It is smoother, it is nicer, it is softer. You actually purchase a fountain pen to get pleasure from the action of writing. If you intend to write with it, gold will deliver that. Both options are very good, but it depends on the budget. It depends on where and how do you intend to use the fountain pen. And also, if you take my advice and you see the things like I see them, it is going to be better for you in some cases, in most of the cases, to actually get a steel nib versus a gold nib where it is available. I hope this video will help you in the future if you are thinking about what to get, a steel nib or gold nib fountain pen. If you have this option, let me know if this was helpful. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, use the comment section down below. I will be more than happy to answer and to just go through and explain a lot more of the things behind the way I look at this topic with you all in the comment section. So join me there and let's see what do you think about it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the penventure YouTube channel. Also, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find the details for our website where you can find Leonardo fountain pens like this ones and a lot more others there. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. This will help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm and everything. And if you want to support the growth of the penventure YouTube channel, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, click there, turn on the notification bell on, and you will be notified whenever we have new content. Speaking about content, if you want to continue watching my videos, I'm going to leave you this right here. You can click and enjoy. As always, I'm your host, Amy from penventure. I look forward to seeing you next video. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.